If you're not yet a subscriber, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and also the little bell icon so you can be alerted each and every time we make a new video. Hi everybody, the community expert here in the Villages, Florida, coming to you today to talk to you about something that I don't normally talk about, something pretty much in a different realm as what my YouTube channel usually references, and that's buyers. So normally, this whole YouTube channel that I have is geared towards homes, communities, activities, most everything for the buyer. All right, so I've gone to other different communities, talked about what's the most relevant things in each community, and it's pretty much my whole YouTube channel has been dedicated mainly towards buyers. But today I'm going to do something totally different, and that is going to be talk about sellers and why sellers need to really consider listing in the MLS versus the VLS. Okay, so why am I going down this path? Because I feel like a lot of sellers are not educated. And so this is my attempt to try to educate sellers in the villages and show you the advantages of listing in the MLS versus the VLS. So let's talk about why would somebody list in the VLS, the virtual listing system. First of all, a lot of people buy their home in the villages right from the developer as a brand new home. So quite naturally, when they go to sell their home, they go back to the developer thinking that's going to be the best place for me to get my home sold. Well, that's why I'm making this YouTube video. So let's talk about that. First of all, I originally started my YouTube channel talking about why you need 2 agents in the villages to make sure you see all the listings. So that was probably one of my very first videos made about 4 years ago on why you need 2 agents, because those villages agents never told a lot of their buyers that there's other listings that they need to be looking at, and that's in the MLS. So what I'm here to do, again, like I did back then, is to give you the whole story and tell you everything about the VLS versus the MLS. All right, so now I just mentioned, why do people list in the VLS, the Villages Listing System? Mainly because they feel like, well, that's where I bought my home, so that's why I'm going to sell my home there. Is that the smartest thing? Well, we're going to talk about that. The MLS, Multiple Listing System. I'm going to talk to you today about why you should list, if you're a seller, in the MLS rather than the VLS. All right, so let's go ahead. I want to do a search for you. Now, as most of you probably know, and most of you have already done this, where do you go today to look for a home? Any home, anywhere. Not just the villages, but if you're going to look for a home to buy, where is the first place do you go? Online, right? Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, Homes.com. There's a whole wealth of areas online that you go to. That's the first thing you think about when you go to look for a home. And if you're looking for a home to buy in the villages, I'm probably pretty sure that that's the first place you go to as well, is where 99.5 or 99.9% of the people go today to find a home, right? Okay, so let's talk about that. I'm going to go over here to my computer and I want to show you something. So what I have on my computer right now is I have my MLS, Stellar MLS, pulled up. All right, so what we have is something called Matrix in Stellar MLS. and matrix tells us where all the homes are. So right down here, so this is my home search, and we will go to quick search, and it defaults to the villages. And what we're going to do is look for homes in the villages. So this is what is in the villages today. Now I'm going to pick a random address in here, and let's go with let's go with a 2002. Actually, let's try. This is a 2020. This is a 2020. I'm going to copy that, and over here it's 1,503 square feet living area, and it's 369.9. I'll give you a look at it, what it looks like in my MLS. All right, and here it is, 2020, 369.9. Now, I want to make a point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to Google this address. So here's Google. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click this address. I'm going to put this address in here. Up pops my different menus, and I'm just going to go ahead and hit Google search right here. Google search. All right, so what pops up? Number one, Zillow. So 5017 Jeffers Terrace pops up in Zillow. Then it pops up in Trulia. Then it pops up in Realtor.com, and so on, just like we talked about. Hot Pads, Rocket Homes, For Sale by Owners, Caldwell Banker Homes, Easy Street Realty, Kokorin.com, and we can keep going. Redfin, Search Central Florida, Compass, and then it starts to fall off. And let's try one more page. All right, so it's about a page and a half of homes that you see on Jeffers, right? All right, let's go ahead and we're going to go back to Zillow, because we're going to pull that up on Zillow. So let's go back to Zillow, and one more. Back to Zillow. We're going to pull it up. We're going to take a look at the listing in Zillow. All right. So there's some good information here on Zillow. Again, like we saw, it's $369.9. They actually increased the price by $5,000. That's because this is the market that we're in today. This says for sale, and it gives you a zestimate of exactly what the price is in the MLS, $369.9. So it matches. Okay. And then you can get a bunch of other information from this. All right. So this is where most people go today, and this home is in the villages. And so now we're going to say, all right, let's check out a villages listing. Okay. So these are the villages listings up here. I'm going to pull up the first one. This one is on 374 Totten Street. Let's go ahead and we're going to highlight that. We're going to go here, and we're going to copy. All right, let's go back to Zillow. Let's go back to Google. We're going to put this in Google. We're going to paste it in there. Google search 374 Totten Street. And there's a Totten in New York, in the Bronx. But we see no listings in Google for any of the villages listings. All right, so let's try one more. Let's see what's going on. I see no listings for Taunton on the first page like we saw in the MLS. Let's go do one more. We'll go back to the villages, and I don't know, let's pick this Sea Breeze on Duxbury. All right, Duxbury Street for $344,900. Okay, so $344,900, 1,501 square feet living area. Let's go to Zillow. Let's go to Google, and we're going to replace Taunton with Duxbury. All right, Duxbury Street. We're going to Google, and oh wow, look, 1373 Duxbury Street pops up in Zillow. Let's click on it. Okay, so what kind of information are we getting out of Zillow here? Well, first of all, like our one in on Jeffers, see where it says see where it says for sale, and it gives you your Zestimate right here for sale. All right, this one in Duxbury says sold for $259,900. Well, why is that? Well, first of all, it sold on January 25th, 2021, so that's kind of odd. This home over here that we're looking at in the villages is $344,900, and Zillow is giving it a Zestimate of $376,400, and it sold back in January, but we don't see any active like we see here for sale. This one on Jeffers is for sale. This one on Duxbury was sold, and it was sold back in January. There is no listing in Zillow for Duxbury for sale. Let's go back and look at another website. Let's go back and see what, let's choose Realtor.com. Let's see what Realtor.com has to say. Now keep in mind, that's all we did was Google the address. And this one, it says, we're going to go ahead and click out of here. We're going to try to get whatever information we can. This is the estimate 278, which number one at 344,900 shows you that home is way overpriced in the villages. So it says this property was sold thrice in the last 9 years. It's estimated today at 278. It sold for 259 back in January 25th. But like we saw in Zillow, but there is no active listing for this home, this particular home. So it's giving you a value, but it's not listed for sale at all in Realtor.com. You don't see it 344,900 anywhere. Let's go one more. Let's do Trulia. Let's see what Trulia has to say. So again, 259,900 last sold. There are no current listings for this home in any of the online websites. All it's showing is what was sold back in January. The point I'm trying to make is you will not find any listings in the VLS if you Google their addresses and go to all these online websites. let's do one more. I tell you what, let's go one step further. Let me see if I can actually go right to Zillow. And I'm going to see about maybe just putting in this address in Zillow and see if it'll pop up for me as a home on the market. So we're going to do a search, and let me see. Price, home type, buy. We want to buy homes for sale. Okay, let's go to homes for sale. Now, I'm going to put in address. Let me put this address in here, okay? I'm going to slip it in behind the Villages, Florida, Duxbury Street. There we go. Now, I've gone right to Zillow and put this address in right directly through Zillow rather than Google. Let's see what happens. Okay, and we hit the little magnifying glass. And nothing. It goes right back to that original sold back in January 25th, 2021. So the point I'm trying to make is where 99.9% of the people go to look for homes, you will not find your home if you list it in the VLS. If you look for it in Google, if you look for it in Trulia, and trust me, all these other websites, you won't find any VLS listings listed in any of these websites. Why? Because these websites only pull from the MLS. They don't pull from the VLS. So if you're listing a home, where would you rather your home be listed and located? Would you rather it be in Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, Homes.com? I mean, all those other host of websites, not only other individual brokerages are also picking up these listings. So again, why would you want to put your home with the VLS when none of them are going to come up in Zillow? Hardly anybody knows that. And the ones that do know that, those are the ones that are listing in the MLS and not the VLS. I will guarantee you, if I ask all of these people, or most of the people who list in the VLS, hey, do you know your home won't come up in Zillow or Trulia or Realtor.com? No. Why? Because the Village's agent, when they went to go list that home, will never tell you that. And that's why I am telling you today here on my YouTube channel. So this is what I think everybody in the Villages needs to know when they're thinking about putting their home on the market and listing their home. One other thing I want to talk about, that 374 Totten, or Toten, however you say it. Let's go back to that just for 1 second. Let me go back over here. I want to point one more thing out to you. And probably you might ask, well, why didn't that one on Toten come up, but the one on Duxbury did? Well, I can pretty much answer that question for you. That home is never been sold before on the pre-owned market, okay? Whereas the Duxbury home was. So that's why the Duxbury home came up, because it was previously sold and closed. Now Zillow picks up closed listings. They don't pick up active listings or ones that are currently on the market, but ones that were sold and closed, they will pick those listings up. But this one, I can't really see where, well, let me just see home features. Let me see if I can tell what year, how old this home is. All right, so let's see. I'm not really seeing where, but I'll pretty much guarantee you it is a fairly new home. And let's see if I can go to the share page. No. let's see if I can, where I can go to see if I can find, oh, it's a new home. It's a brand new home. That's why you don't find it in Zillow or Trulia or any of the other ones, because it's never been previously sold before anyways. So that's why you won't catch any homes, whether they're new or pre-owned, on the market in the VLS. All right, so there you go. There is a huge difference between VLS and MLS and the exposure that your pre-owned home gets. One more point I do want to talk about, because we have the newspaper, all right, the Daily Sun. First of all, anywhere you start reading, online is where it's at. I mean, newspaper is dead. Periodical advertising is pretty much dead. I don't even advertise in the newspaper. I advertise online. I advertise on Facebook. I advertise on YouTube. I advertise on Instagram. Online is where it's at. Newspaper advertising, old school, it's dead. However, if you go into the Village's Daily Sun, into their classifieds, right? You're going to see all these pretty listings, all color. Now, is this to sell a home? Absolutely not. I'll talk about that in just a second. What this is to influence the person who lives in the villages and have that person falsely think that they're getting unbelievable exposure for their home listing by putting it in the paper. Who's reading the paper? Who are the people that are buying homes? Most of the people buying homes are up north, wanting to come down here. They're not reading the paper. They're going to Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, and looking at all the homes that are for sale in the villages online. They're not reading this paper. This paper is only to make you, the seller, think, oh, wow, look how I'd really like to see my home in color in this newspaper. Guess what? Guess how many people, too, are buying a home that live in the villages? Well, not many. Not as many as the people who are coming from out of state. Not only that, but anybody who is going to buy a home, are they only going to look in the paper for a home? No. They're going to look online, but here's the number one thing they're going to do. And what do you think that is? They're going to get with a real estate agent or realtor. Now, the agents in the village's sales office are not realtors. I want to make that a point. The people who are in the MLS are realtors, and realtors abide by a certain ethics, realtor ethics. We have guidelines that we abide by. The agents that are in the sales office are real estate agents. They're not realtors. So I want to make sure that that's clear, because you have to belong to the Board of Realtors, local, state, and nationally, and you have to abide by these ethics, okay? So that's number one. But the number one place people are going to go to if they want to buy a home is to an agent, whether they're a realtor in the MLS or whether they're a real estate agent in the VLS. You're going to go so you can see all the homes, all the listings. You're not just going to go here, okay? You're just not. So that's why I'm going to go back to my original video and say you need two agents. And it's too bad, but it is what it is. And in the Villages is the only community that I know of where you have to have 2 separate agents. Only in the Villages. Kind of odd. Think about that one. Anyways, this is why I wanted to make this video, because I'm sure I'm telling a lot of people who watch my YouTube channel who are actually residents in the Villages why you really want to list with a home in the MLS and not in the VLS. You get much more exposure and much more, and you know what? And it's even unfortunate on the other side where people are looking in Zillow and thinking they're seeing all the listings in the Villages when in reality you're not. You need 2 agents. You need to look in thevillages.com in the VLS, and you need to look at the MLS. But what I'm telling you now is you get more exposure through the MLS than you do in the VLS. All right, so that is your educational video, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. I wanted to kind of point that out and bring that out there exactly like I did back 4 years ago when I told you you needed 2 agents to work with in the Villages to see all the listings. So if you are in the market and you see value in what I just told you on this YouTube channel, in this video, this is not really, honestly, not an advertisement for me to come list your home. However, I would love to list your home. I'd love to put it on my YouTube channel. I'd love to put it on Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com and Homes.com and all of those. I'd love to give you the advantage that we have to offer. Just give us that opportunity. All right? So if this makes sense, please go ahead and leave your comments. I'd love to see your comments, the homeowners here in the Villages, and how many of you knew exactly what I'm telling you here about Googling Villages listings and how you won't see them anywhere. All right, so please let us know what you think about this video. If we can help you, if you're looking to sell your home, we'd love to come by. We'd love to talk to you about what your home is worth and what you can do to make your home in the most valuable position as possible. So we'll come in there with my 21 plus years of experience. I'll come in there, I'll give you suggestions, I'll give you ideas. I'll tell you what will make your home the most valuable and bring the highest price for your home. And also, I offer you all this exposure, online exposure. That's where it's at, okay? So thanks so much for watching. If we can interest you and possibly us coming by to talk to you about your home, feel free to call 352-204-9026. You can text or call on that number, all right? And you'll either reach me or Danielle, my assistant, and we'd love to hear from you. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. We look forward to hearing from you in the future.